Hello, everybody. Welcome into Talking Fitchburg on this Monday, June 7th, 2021. I'm Jeremy Crosby. Have you, cooled down since the weekend? Or since today? Hello, summer. It's here. Even though it's not here yet, it's here. We, as I said last time that we were together, it's like spring always is, you never know what you're going to get, right? And I was hearing on the radio this morning from the drought standpoint that, this time a few years ago, we were like totally flooded out. And now it's reversed. Now we're totally dried out. It's just crazy how weather works. But either way, I hope you stay hydrated all this week because it's going to stay warm. Chances of storms throughout the week. So hopefully that will bring some rain for the farmers. They need it badly, especially in southeastern Wisconsin. But a good chunk of Wisconsin needs it badly. So hopefully we'll see that. And as I told my neighbor, probably shouldn't mow too much. Let it grow. Let it stay green. I saw a lot of people mow this week or on Friday. And then saw a lot of brown spots. And with that, I don't get to take a lot of time because I got a short headlines today, but you stay safe there this week. We will be looking back at Arson Awareness Week. We'll talk with one of our local fire inspectors, Jay Wilson. He'll be here on the show today. And then we'll talk with Jill McCone down at the Fitchburg Senior Center as we preview what's happening the month of June at the Senior Center. A very active month at the Senior Center at that. We'll break that down for you coming up. First, let's get right into the headlines. Traffic alert, Fish Hatchery Road closure started today, if you've already noticed. Work began this morning due to concrete that is broken, so they've got to reconstruct some of this area. So all traffic from Fish Hatchery Road will be able to access Greenway Cross for Frontage Road. Traffic south and east of Bryant Street will not have access to Greenway Cross. Traffic should use Bryant Road to access Greenway Cross. You can see that from the map on your screen. We also got a long-term closure to tell you about on Lacey Road, ramp to US Highway 14 westbound. The northbound area there. Starting today, the westbound in Fitchburg will be closed until late October 2021. Drivers must use alternative routes such as the McCoy Road ramp to US Highway 14 westbound. Temporary traffic signals are in place at the County MM and McCoy Road intersection to mitigate traffic backups in the area. The MM ramp to US Highway 14 is expected to reopen on Saturday, June 5th. We'll keep you up to date on that, and you can get updates from the project.511wi.gov. You can search Highway 14 Bridge Project. All right, questions about COVID-19, the vaccine, and finding an appointment? All you got to do is call the 211. Yeah, it's easy. And we want to make sure that you are able to access it. So you have to do is dial 211. And the call center will help you figure out and answer any questions that you might have on COVID-19 vaccination clinics and more. Don't forget to check ticks, by the way. Lyme disease is, we're number one in the country, if you didn't know that. I know I was checking all weekend long, but make sure that you do check for ticks after every adventure that you head out there and fight the bite. You can check out the website for more information on that great resource there to help you out. All right, how can you make a difference in somebody's life via suicide prevention? Learn what you can do if you think someone might be at a risk for self-harm. Here's an action plan for you to help you out. First, ask, are you thinking about killing yourself? Keep them safe. Reduce access to lethal items in place. Be there. Listen carefully. Acknowledge their feelings. Help them connect. Save the National Prevention Lifeline number in their phone, your phone, to help somebody out. And stay connected. Follow up and stay in touch after a crisis. More information is on the website at departmentofhealth.wisconsin.gov/prevent/suicide for more information on mental health. We need to keep talking about it every day because it affects all of us, or has affected someone that you may know. All right, that does it for our headlines. Coming up next, we are going to open up our digest. We'll be taking a look back at arson prevention. We'll talk with one of the fire investigators from the Fitchburg Fire Department. You'll remember him, Jay Wilson. Used to be a police officer here in Fitchburg, now a fire investigator. We'll have him on the show. And a little bit later, we check in with Jill McCone at the Fitchburg Senior Center on this edition of Talking Fitchburg. Happy Monday.
We're all just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us.
Ready!
That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu. And especially this year, no one has time to get sick. Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you too.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining me today from the Fitchburg Fire Department and somebody that is still an idol for me here at Fact TV, and a person that I'm glad I got to work with in the past. Jay Wilson joining us today from the Fitchburg Fire Department as well. But I don't want to steal Adam's complete thunder here. So Adam, Doran, you've set up yet another great interview for us today, and honored to have Jay here. But tell us a little bit about Jay and why we have him here today.
Well, thanks, Jeremy, for having us again. I know it gets to be pretty important time of the year with spring and all these other events, making the time for us. We really appreciate it. So we're here today to talk about Arson Awareness Week, and with that, the fire investigation unit of the fire department and the police department. We're very fortunate that we have a very good working relationship with our police department, and it was formed to a large extent with the man that we see on our screen here. I like to call him the man, the myth, and the legend, Jay Wilson. He's a retired police officer for the city of Fitchburg. While he was a police officer, he was actually one of our fire investigators. And I've learned a lot from Jay, and Jay's taken me under his wing a little bit and helped me out and taught me as we've gone through the investigation world. So who better to talk about fire investigation than someone that has done this for quite some time.
Jay, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Definitely glad to have you on board, and I hope you've enjoyed some retirement from the police department, but glad you've been around and been doing these fire investigations. As far as what a fire investigator does, Jay, what is your role when you respond to scenes?
Well, my role is I respond to the scene, and the goal is to try to determine the origin, where the fire started, and then what caused the fire. And a lot of times we can find the origin, but the cause is a tough one to identify.
What training, Jay, does the average fire inspector go through to get into this position?
Well, for me, I was lucky because back in 1996, they started the joint police fire investigation team. So I got the opportunity to go to the National Fire Academy at Emmitsburg, Maryland for 2 weeks for their fire investigation school, which is one of the premier schools that investigators like to attend. And that along with lots of other training. And then locally we have our Dane County group called DCARI. It's the Dane County Arson Response Initiative. And they've done quite a bit of training. They usually have a monthly training, and I like to attend those. And because of COVID-19, a lot of their training now is done through just as we're doing right now. And then they have a lot of their training is online at their website, so that you can watch the training at your own leisure to pick up a lot of things. So I've had quite a few hours, and then we've even done we do some in-house training at the fire department also.
What are some of the basics? So obviously we're not gonna go into a full blown what you do when you're investigating, although, tried and true, you're really trying to find, like what you said, how it started and what started it. But how do you approach these scenes, fire scenes, when you do respond?
Well, if I get to the scene early enough, when the firefighters are still fighting the fire, it can be a plus for me, because then I can kind of see where the area of the building where it's concentrated, where they're attacking the fire at, and then how the fire spreads. But if I get there afterwards, a lot of it is more talking with people, talking with the firefighters that fought the fire, what they encountered, what they observed when they arrived on the scene, and what they saw when they went inside the building to extinguish the fire. And then also talking to the residents, anybody that was home or present at the time, and a lot of the maybe neighbors that might have seen what happened. And now what's really helped quite a bit is people now with the phones, with the great camera and video systems in the phone, there's a lot of people that will record it with their phone prior to the fire department even arriving. And that's a big help because you can kind of see where the fire is located. And a good example was we had a fire over off of Seminole Highway in an apartment complex. And we really couldn't tell if the fire started on the patio on the first floor, but actually looked at a video that a neighbor had taken, and the fire had started outside in one of those planters on the second floor balcony. And that was of great help in us determining the origin where the fire actually started. So a lot of it's just probably more interviewing. And then we actually go into the building and we try to look for the areas that had the most damage. Try to look for patterns, how the fire may have burned through the building. And then we also try to locate items and try to recreate the scene and put things back together. And that's where, for the firefighters, they're trained, which is a big help to the investigator, to try not to move a lot of things around in the building, and to try not to tear walls and ceilings down, do what they have to do to extinguish the fire, but leave as much as they can because it helps us with our investigation.
And Dorn, that probably leads me to a question for you. When the fire department gets there, I'm suspecting, as much as being in the EMS world or in the police world or whatever, your tunnel vision into trying to take care of the situation as it's happening in front of you. So from the firefighter standpoint, when you folks show up and are trying to get these things out, what are you trying to keep in mind to help protect the scene and document what's happening? Even though in the back of your mind, you're like, we got to get this fire out. We got to keep everybody safe, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah. So when we, like you said, when we pull up on scene, you could say we're somewhat tunnel visioned into, we need to put the fire out, or we need to get people out, right? Rescue people. Those are the priorities: life safety, incident stabilization, property conservation. As we do those things, though, we can't be so tunnel vision that we miss these other clues, so to say, as we are going about our duties. Sometimes, it's as simple as, did you see vehicles leaving the area? Did you see anybody standing around that looked, quote unquote, out of place, right? Did they look like they didn't belong? Maybe there's only one person in the whole group that doesn't have shoes on. In the summer, that might not be so out of the ordinary, but in the winter or the fall or the spring, that could be out of the ordinary. So little things like that, maybe we had a hard time accessing the building because of whatever, right? So there's all sorts of little things that we try to take note of when we go fight this fire or gain access to buildings that we need to try and remember. And that's actually why we go back, when we get back to this firehouse. Jay's really good about it. He goes, hey, did you guys fill out your first in reports? So not only do we fill out a report that says, this is what we did for our company, but each individual person on that company also fills out a report that says, this is what I saw, heard, smelt, did, all of that kind of stuff. And we document it, and then we give it over to the fire investigators. And then we look at that and say, okay, does that information match up with what we've been told by other people that have been on scene? So it's all think of it as a big puzzle, and we all have 1,000 pieces that we got to try and mix through, and everybody has maybe one or two of them that we got to try and put together.
Jay, as we're talking about Arson Awareness Week and the investigating that you're doing out there, when you're trying to put these things, I mean, I can't imagine going into some of these places and, things are gone, destroyed, whatever. But as you're putting the facts together, if you will, and building a case, how long does it take you and other fire investigators to figure out these things, if you're able to do so?
It's a slow process because there's a lot that has to be done. Besides, we photograph the scene, but it's talking to a lot of individuals. So trying to locate people, to talk to them, and then it's a slow process too to go through and move the debris that's in the building so that you can kind of get to certain areas. So it does take time. Sometimes you have to bring in heavy equipment. One fire we had here recently during our cold stretch, I think it was back in February when it was real bitter cold. We had a house fire on Meadowwood Drive, and the challenge we ran into was that it was below zero temperature, so everything in the house was frozen. So you really couldn't move anything. And there was quite a bit of collapse from in the garage and then the ceiling. So we ended up having to wait probably a week or so when it warmed up. And then we were able to get in there and start actually being able to move debris in that because it had thawed out. So those are some of the other challenges that you run into. So sometimes it can be very time consuming. And then the other thing we like to do is it seems like the fires always seem to happen at night. And a lot of times we like to wait till daytime when you can see a lot better.
Yeah, I suspect so. And as far as continuing education goes, Jay, things change rapidly, and education in public safety is a must. But how do you take your experiences that you've learned, plus combine it all together to build yourself a better educational and better investigator, but also sharing your knowledge with the next generation?
I think just being able to work with individuals that are interested. You can, if you go to a fire scene, you can show them things, you can explain things, and you can rely on a lot of fires that you've dealt with in the past. How the conditions were in there to see if they're similar, or even talking with other fire investigators too. I still like to talk to other fire investigators and get their opinion, because sometimes there's so many things you have to think of and remember, and sometimes you might miss something. So it's nice to have somebody that you can talk with. That's why it's nice when we have a fire that it's great when Adam and I can work together, because I can say, well, what do you think about this? And Adam can say, well, what do you think about that? And you can kind of try to, like he said, put the puzzle back together.
Well, I think it's a very interesting thing to do, a job to do. And, I would just love to pick your brain on all of, how this all works. But we can't give away, can't give away all your secrets, I guess. And even though they're not really secrets, they're just ways of investigating. So with that, Jay, I appreciate you taking the time and joining us today. You're still one of my favorites out there in Fitchburg, and we appreciate your time. And I love catching up with you. You're a big fisherman, so love catching up with them on that. You see, I use the word catch there too, Jay.
Yeah, I caught that.
Oh, I love it. That's why I love this guy. Dorn, thank you so much for setting this up. You and Wilson, you guys are awesome, and appreciate the time.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us, Jeremy.
You bet. All right, Jay Wilson and Adam Dorn, Fitchburg Fire Department. You'll see him out there. Like I said, Jay says more of these things happen at night, so you may not see Jay all the time, but they're out there working and helping you out each and every day. Take a quick break. More to come. You're watching Talking Fitchburg.
You could be spreading the coronavirus without realizing you have it. So follow guidance from authorities where you live and do your part. It's important to limit in-person interaction with anyone outside of your immediate household, but phone and video chat are safe ways to connect. It's also important to limit any social gathering. This advice applies to people of any age, including teens and younger adults. Visit coronavirus.gov for the latest information.
After you joined our family, it was like, I really do feel complete now.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining me today from the Fitchburg Senior Center, it's Jill McCone. Jill, welcome back to the show. I think this is the first time that we're literally in the same building. We may not be in the same area, but we're in the same building.
I'm tempted to come up there,
If we weren't in the middle of some construction up here, we would totally have you come up, but we don't have that. We could have came to you though. I mean, there is that, but which maybe we will next time, because things are moving right along for things opening up in the senior center. I think you've done a great job of getting things prepared and ready to go. But what is your synopsis of today, where you're at and with things being open?
I'm like this. What COVID? That's what's
We're
not
go.
Completely, but we did slowly sort of have some folks come back last month in May, very quietly, a few pilot programs with the social distancing and the masks. But when Dane County changed their mandate, we just kind of followed along and said, we're going to open our doors and we welcome anybody back who feels comfortable. We obviously follow Dane County. If you're not vaccinated, ask you to wear a mask. We won't ask. But we just want people to come back at their comfort level. But there's really nothing this month that we are not offering. Everything is kind of back in swing. Before we went live, I was telling Jeremy we had 6 or 7 people here for lunch. The bus is able to bring people here, and people are happy. They're just really happy to be back and feel kind of normal again. So I feel really good about it. We're not busting down the doors, but you have a sense of normalcy, and that feels really good.
It does, and you still we were talking too about this. I don't feel like we've really been under pressure to open up. You haven't. I mean, you've obviously people wanted to get back in there, but I think things have come along working with Dane County and working with all the different senior centers and people out there. I think we're coming back in a responsible way, but at a comfort level that can work for everybody, not just the folks, but your staff too, because your staff,
right?
I can't think of a more hands-on department than
right.
the senior center.
Right. And it's hard not to be hugging everybody up when they come in or shaking their hand and welcoming them back. And, again, we've talked about the numbers. Dane County is, their stats are really good in terms of vaccinations for all people, but particularly over 65, we're at 94%, I think the last time I checked. So there is a level of comfort here while we're still trying to be cautious. But it does. It feels good. It feels good not to be thinking about what are we going to do now. So,
yeah. And I think, we coming back last week when everything kind of the mask, it was still weird to not have the mask versus wearing it. I still carry my mask around pretty significantly because we want to make everybody feel comfortable when they do come in and as part of that. So I think that's awesome. Let's talk about some of the great programs that you do have going on because there's a lot of them. Pick on this outdoor exercise one. Maybe not right now, Jill, with the temperatures, but tell us a little bit about this.
Well, I think that's a boot camp. I think we changed the name actually. Oh, it's out. We stopped calling it boot camp because last month we tried it outside, and I think the word boot camp has a connotation of, it's just grinding it out hard. And so we changed it to outdoor exercise with Melissa, and it's going really well. They meet at McKee Park. It's a small group, but just another option for people that don't want to be in a confined space, or maybe they enjoyed that day or time. So we hope to continue offering that. And then, the aerobics and the other stuff. I'm excited because we're able to offer aerobics, yoga. I'm trying to think of some other things that we're going to do a hybrid. So people can come in, they can Zoom. And I will say with COVID, I don't think we would have been pushed this quickly to use that platform for offering programs. I mean, we've thought about it in the past, but now we're able to do it. And it's not people, like one lady said, I can keep exercising, but I can't come in because I babysit for my grandkids, but now I can Zoom. And, so I'm happy that we were forced to use that and that we can continue to use it to meet a lot of different needs that we weren't meeting before. So it's good.
Yeah, we've had a lot of people actually call that were watching. We did some upgrades, and one of the workout programs got off our server. We got a bunch of calls that we want to work out and it's like, we'll get it back up there. I promise. And I think it's great. I think it opened it up to a new world and brought people up to that next level, whether you wanted to or not. But having that option, and you're right, the dynamics in family has changed significantly. So having that option, I think, is amazing. So. How about this virtual mind over matter? I think this one comes up every single year, and I always want to make sure we get it out there because it's so important.
It is important. Mind over matter, healthy bowels, healthy bladder. Again, it is just for women right now. Dr. Heidi Brown developed this many years ago, and it's always been a really popular class. Of course, we were scheduling this, a couple months ago before we knew the mandate would be dropped. But I think the virtual, it'll be interesting to do this to offer it this way because some people are more maybe embarrassed about, admitting that they have some issues with incontinence, which, you shouldn't. These are normal things that are happening, but you don't have to deal with them. So I'm hoping that this one is popular. I think we have a couple signed up so far. And you do have to attend all 3 sessions because there's a lot of homework and a lot of class engagement. And for it to be successful, they do want you to attend 3. So yeah, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah, definitely get involved. A good one. Real quick, want to sneak in the meal program updates.
Yeah.
You got a partnership coming in with Hy-Vee. I was excited to hear
Yeah,
you
right.
into this before. So tell us what this one's about.
So this is something that the county has been doing at other sites for several years, called My Meal, My Way. To be completely honest, when it first was rolled out a few years ago, I wasn't really hip on the concept because to me, you want people to come to the center to socialize, to engage in other activities, to meet new people. And I always felt like, well, if we send them to a restaurant, you're just going to go up there with your friends, eat with your friends, and then leave. So I was not real excited about the opportunity. So when it came back around, we have worked so well with Hy-Vee over the years. They're a great partner. People know Hy-Vee here in Fitchburg. And, I just opened my mind to just a broader way of thinking that a lot of our congregate people that come on the bus, they don't have the opportunity to go eat anywhere else. They don't have transportation. Maybe they don't have the funding to, drop $10, $15 on a meal. So we are going to start partnering with them next month on the July 7th. We won't be offering meals here. So if you do want to eat that day, it's only at Hy-Vee with a limited menu. Staff person will be up there checking people in. It's for anyone 60 and over, and it's a donation. So, yeah, I'm kind of excited. So I let go of my own, thoughts about what this might do and looked at the possibilities of how to, engage more people and open it up to more people. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, you got to try it once, right?
I know.
Try it and see how it works. And you're very protective of your folks, which is a good thing. You're like a big mom. Like, okay, don't you be talking to my kids like that.
Don't you go somewhere else besides the senior center to eat. This is where you need to be. Yeah, I am.
Well, I'm thinking, Jill, that we'll just all go up there for lunch, right? And we can stay hi to everybody still, right? And you're
for sure.
Buying,
well,
right?
And again, yeah, a staff person has to be there. So yeah, I'm letting go of my old thinking ways. And just to I'm like an old curmudgeon, no, only anybody needs to come here. And so
no worries. It's going to be good. And if you got any questions, certainly contact you and or the staff down there, and you will get them all set up for that. All right, Jill, we're out of time. Always fun to catch up with you. And like I said, hopefully a lot of people stop in and say, hey, and if you're not comfortable yet, hey, the door's open when you're ready, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Well, Jill, thank you so much. We'll talk to you next month.
You guys. All right.
All right, Jill McCone, best director I know of the senior center here. We've got the best. Well, we just got the best one here in Fitchburg, so it doesn't matter. And we're going to take a quick break. We'll check back in with her next month. You're watching Talking Fitchburg.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be blood. Next Thursday?
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day.
I have no time for this.
So
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg, wrapping up the show for the day. I want to thank Jill McCone for joining us, keeping you up to date. Check out the newsletter online, and that's at fitchburgwi.gov /senior center. And of course, Jay Wilson for joining the show. You can catch all of the videos that we have filmed, interviews, especially for the Arson Awareness Week. We did federal, state, and local. It was a great piece there. As we wrap up, remember to stay connected with FAG TV, all those resources online for you, and have a great day.